Hi guys, it's Ray. Today I am starting a pour on this TV tray. It's just a Walmart brand. They're like $10.88. So this is the wrap that comes on it. They're usually hanging on a wire thing in the furniture area. So I'm going to sand this down lightly, and then I'm going to paint it a shade of blue. It really doesn't matter what, just to give it a base. But before I do all that, I am going to, because I'm going to pour this flat on the table, not standing up and dripping on the floor, I'm going to remove all these screws. Well, these two, I guess these I do have to remove. I did a couple of these last year. I've done several, but I did 2 as a Christmas gift for the same person last year. So these 2, those 2, and these 4. That way I can just prop this up. So I will be back once I have this painted and prepped and we're ready to do the pour. I'm going to mix up quite a bit of resin because this is a fairly large surface area and I want it to be able to flow and really cover everything. So I'll be back when that's all done. Okay, so I'm painted blue. I have my mica powders and some alcohol inks pulled. I have my resin mixed up. I'm going to immediately get my resin portioned out so there's less chance of it flash curing. I'm going to make a bigger cup for my one blue, and then I'm going to do a smaller cup for my gray and my other blue. And then I'm going to do one more smaller cup. It's okay if I'm dripping a little bit of clear down here. It's not going to hurt anything. That's probably actually more than I want for black, because I just want black to be a little bit of an accent color. And I'm still going to break this down further into a couple of smaller cups and just set them to the side. I do have other projects ready to go. Because again, less chance of flash curing in smaller quantities. So I have black, gray, forget-me-not blue, and blue rose. These aren't really exactly the colors I want, so I am going to doctor them up with some inks. I'm going to start with my darkest blue. And this is a good amount, so it's going to get quite a bit. And I'm going to use Pixiss ink in Cobalt to darken it up. Mixing an alcohol ink in each one will also help me with any bubble problems. So I'm going to get this one stirred up and set to the side. Look at that gorgeous color. Okay, I'm going to move these little cups way out of my way. And I'm going to do my black next, just so I don't mess up and mix like a crap ton of black. I don't want the black too dark. I'm going to use Ash from that Pixiss set. Ash is kind of a grayish blacky color. I don't want to use my resin dye because I don't want like super black. Just black. I'm going to do the gray. I think that's more gray than I want, so I'm going to pour a little bit of that off. And this project is going to get messy. And I'm going to use Let's Resin Gray for this one, which I did not shake up, clearly. You do have to move relatively quickly, because once you start adding pigments and things, and I do have it fairly warm in this room, things will start to set quick. And this is Sky from the same Pixiss set. So this will be my lighter blue. And I have about 400 mLs here mixed, maybe a little bit more. Now probably about 350 to 4. I do obviously have more if I need it, but I'm just gonna jump in and go for it. So this is probably actually more than I need for this project. My board is fairly level, and I'm just going to pour it on in bands. And let it run off the sides. I'm not really going to manipulate this too much at all. And hopefully I have most of the board in frame. So just going to run a little bit of black here and there. And again, I have extra ready, so I can mix up more as needed. I think I'm going to need to mix up some more of this lighter blue, definitely. And probably some more of the darker blue. The other colors, probably not. Sorry for my reach. Okay. So you can't really see too much to the side, but I'm just going to mix up some more of that resin. Definitely more of the lighter blue. And I'm going to try and work quickly over here. And I may actually, in my next cup of dark blue, I may not add any more of the ink. I may just let the color speak for itself. The mica and whatever shows through of that base color, just to give it a little bit more variation. But I am going to mix up more of the light blue with the ink because I didn't get to this side of the board at all with that. So that's where I'm headed now. So get that mixed up quick. And this is a very messy project. Protect your work surface, definitely. If you're pouring on an actual table, tape all the way around. And make sure you put it on plastic and plastic around it and everywhere. And I am 100% okay with this possibly becoming a different color entirely. My directive was simply blues. So I'll come back in with this one and see if this ends up a little bit different. Not all that different, probably because there was still some ink in the cup, but and I didn't put a base layer of clear down, so the resin's not going to move as much as it would had I put a clear base down, because resin likes to follow itself. So if you don't give it a path to take where there's already resin, it's not necessarily going to move. I'll fill this little bit here with the gray. And a little bit more right here. I don't want to put any more resin on here. I think there's plenty down to give it a good coat. So, I do have a little bit of black left, so I'm going to put a couple little strips of black on here. Just to break that up a little bit more again. And this is where you can have fun and manipulate it if you want. I don't really want to blend too much. But I'm just going to kind of come along and move it around a little bit. I feel like I ended up with this super deep river of blue. I'm just going to break it up with a little bit of what's left of the light blue. Yeah, gosh, I don't think I want to mess with this. It's kind of what I was going for. So I am going to come around the edges, and it's not going to match exactly because I'm just going to pick up whatever's on my table in any given section. And I'll show you on this edge. I'm just going to scoop some up on my glove and pat to make sure I've got full coverage around the edge, much like you would on an acrylic pour painting. It'll also encourage those drips to follow off. So, yeah, I think I'm pretty well done here. It's kind of all I wanted to do with this piece, so I didn't want it too crazy. So make sure I get my sides covered. And I don't really think it's going to drip too much more or move at this point, because like I said, it's pretty well leveled. So but once it's dry, I don't even think I'm going to give this another top coat, because the use for this one is not really going to be anything crazy. He just wanted it for, I'm just dragging through a little bit here. He wanted it for like extra desk space in his office when he needs a little extra space. So it's just kind of going to be occasional use. So just kind of putting a couple little waves in here. I'm going to pop my gloves off and grab my torch and just torch it real quick to release any bubbles. If I do end up with a lot of bubbles, I'll end up doing a top coat, but again, for what this one's getting used for, it's not somebody's kitchen counter, it's not being used in a kitchen. I'm probably not going to worry about it too much. I'll come back in and spritz it with alcohol probably once more. Just going to go over it once more. I don't see any more bubbles releasing, so I have a massive mess. But that'll be tomorrow's problem. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you down and let you see it in its entirety. Unfortunately, the camera is going to block my light for that corner. But yeah, you could tilt this and play with it if you wanted more movement. Once again, I don't. This is what I was going for, and I am quite happy with it. So thank you for watching.